Hey guys, welcome back to a new Opal YouTube video. Today I want to talk about value retention in watches. Quick resale check wearing the Black Bay 58, my favorite Tudor, one of my favorite Tudors. I have two Tudors in the collection right now. Let's quickly talk about my collection. I have my Seikos, two Seikos right now, the SESB 006 Tic Tac and also the SBSA 187 Nano Universe. Both of these watches are under $500 Canadian. So that would be your sub $1,000 entry level, sub 4-digit entry level. And I would include the likes of Timex Qs, Timex Peanuts, your Orients, Bambino, Mako, all the different Orients. Hamilton Khakis can go into that range too. I think it's still $600 on Chrono 24, as well as by extension, just barely squeezing in your Tissot PRXs, Longines entry level Legends. Does Legend count? Legend's kind of that weird mid-range point. And then you go into your mid-range, which is your Black Bay 58s, your Omega Seamaster Professionals, used market at least like $5,000. Your Speedmaster Reduced, the old IWC pilots with the white dials, like that $4,000 to $7,000 range, I want to say. And then you get into your upper echelon of $10,000 to $15,000. You have the Oyster Perpetual 36. Well, that's not 10,000, is it? Is the secondary market 10,000? I think Chrono is 10,000 after the bright black dial got discontinued. But more likely, it's gonna be a Submariner. Maybe it's a brand new Speedmaster, like the white dial, to have come out towards the end of last year. I think that was when it came out. Yeah, towards the ends of last year. Any other more niche brands like Chopard, Alpine Eagle, I think that's trading around that range. You have your Glashütte CQs, one of my personal favorite. Your Girard-Perregaux, Laureato, you guys get the idea. Secondhand markets around that range. In this hobby, throughout my time collecting watches, which has been coming up 7 years now, it's very easy to lose money, lose thousands of dollars if you're not careful about how you're buying things and what you're buying. And the golden rule, this truck is just ripping around the parking lot. The golden rule, I think, is drawing a balance between pinpointing how much you want an exact model and configuration, and also how often you turn over watches. Like, you buy watches and you sell watches. The selling part is really how you lose money, right? Because you can't lose money if you hold on to an asset forever. Starting with talking about the lower end watches, let's talk about the Seikos. With the Seikos, you buy something brand new, let's say. Here in Canada, there's always sales on brand new Seikos. Like the Bay, before they went bankrupt, you get 10% just for signing up to be a member, another 30% for random like summer kickoff, summer sizzler sale, or fall into savings, like just random 40% off these Seiko SRPD brand news. And it's not just limited to the new SRPDs, like a lot of different Seikos, they have these giant sales. And so right away off MSRP, you take about conservatively 20-30% off these watches. It's really hard to lose money on Seikos, at least a significant chunk of money. Now, there's always a scenario where it's a rare Seiko, for example. Let's say my arm is killing me, so I'm gonna switch right quick. It's a good angle so the sun's not blocking me. Okay, so unless you come across a really rare Seiko like the Sarb with the salmon dial, for example, so little of us have actually seen that watch in person. So let's say you're like a rare hunter, you're chasing these really rare configurations, then yes, maybe someone has it listed in your local area. You're like, damn, I really need this watch to complete my collection. Then you might overpay a little, 10%, 20%, 30% just to save on the shipping or the duties, or maybe even it's not even listed in your local area. Let's say it's listed in the States, in my case. Then you might have to pay import charges. Our relation's not great. Customs probably gonna rip you a new hole in your wallet if you try to get something over like that. So that example aside, it's really hard to lose money buying these sub $1,000 Seiko Orients, Hamilton Khakis. And that's just the retail example. If you're buying on the secondary market on Facebook Marketplace, right? Unless you're chasing after a very specific example and you just cannot wait longer to get it, usually for myself, but I want to say this is for most collectors, like if I'm itching to get a Seiko or I'm itching to get a new used Tudor, I would go on Marketplace, look at all the listings and just throw like 20% discount offers. Is that how it's supposed to be expressed? 20%? Like whatever they're asking us, I'll offer 20% less. Or if they're asking us something ridiculous, then I'll take like Chrono 24's lowest price and go like 5% less or whatever. Well, in the case of tutors, but Seikos, you're probably just throwing random numbers out there. And just look for someone to bite. If a seller says yes, then you take theirs or whatever the best price you can get is. And by doing that, you're never going to lose money, because let's say you wear it for 2 weeks, 2 months, or even 2 years. As long as the watch doesn't stop running and needs some major repairs, like the crown doesn't engage with the movement anymore, the automatic movement, the rooted rotor, you get a rooted let me not do that, but like unless something catastrophic happens, you're always just going to be able to put the watch back out on the open market and mark it up by maybe $20, expecting someone to haggle, and just sell it for whatever you paid for it. So essentially you're being able to enjoy this hobby for free in this entry watch level. Yeah, let's just call it that. So that's like the lowest end of things. Then you move into your mid-range, which is where I think you can lose the most significant chunk of money. Myself, I am guilty of this. I first started out buying retail, and this is like peak COVID. So retails were not giving any sort of discount. Watches were hard to find out in the wild. My Black Bay 50, you couldn't even find this out in the open market without a 20% markup. And now you look at it today, it's been out for 7 years. And this watch is trading for about $3,500 to $3,600 on Chrono 24, which is like 45%, 40 to 45% off from MSRP, which is crazy. Like, I paid MSRP for that. And I'll be the first to admit, would I do it again? I guess so, because I don't plan on moving this watch on. But if you're just doing this for every single watch and you keep telling yourself, hey, I'm never going to sell my collection, I'm always going to keep it. What if one day you have something come up? Maybe you're having a baby, you're moving to a new place, your car breaks down, you got medical expenses. Like, I think paying retail in the long term is, for every single watch you own, is just a very dangerous game to play. One or two, sure. But it's never a good thing to look at the collection that you own and realize that you're down 40%. Like, on this channel, I don't believe watches should be treated as vessels of investment. But at the same time, with any hobby, you don't want to buy something and see 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the line that you're down for more than 30, 40%. It's never a good feeling. And if you're not careful, if you're just buying random stuff, or like your dealer is really trying to push like a Tag Heuer for retail onto you, and you pick that up, then yeah, it's a surefire way to lose a couple $1,000s from the get-go. So in that's the mid-range side of things. Now, with these mid-range watches, the one benefit that you have is they're neither expensive enough to, this is gonna sound weird, but they're not expensive enough to really do too big of a damage to your budget, as opposed to if you're buying like Alpine Eagles or Laureatos from Chrono 24. Like, those $10,000 plus watches, even if you're getting it at secondary market price, let's say take the Blancpain 50 Fathoms Bath Escape, for example, right? It's like 10.5 Canadian. If you buy that on Chrono 24, you're already saving money, which is great. But the downside there is it is so illiquid that by the time you sell it, you'll probably take another little bit of a mini haircut, maybe $1,000, $2,000. Issue is you're gonna have it on the marketplace for a really long time. I've seen this happen with reversals, with Blancpains. Like, I browse Facebook Marketplace time to time, and I see these same watches listed over and over, and it'll say like listed 3 months ago, 4 months ago. And it's really unfortunate, because it's either you're losing money in these mid-range watches, and they move pretty quickly, because $5,000, right, comparatively to $10,000, there's going to be a lot more people that's able to afford those $5,000 watches. So your turnover is going to be a lot higher. You won't lose that much money if you bought it on the secondary market, but it's going to take a long time for it to move. And let's say you just can't wait, you really need the money now. Well, then you got to sell it to a gray market dealer. You're probably going to take another 30-40% haircut on that. Now, that is the case if you buy these watches on the secondary market. I know I'm not talking about Rolex yet. I'll get to it eventually, very soon. But if you're buying like a reversal tribute dual face for MSRP, oh my god, man. First of all, JLC has been bumping their prices up like crazy in the last couple of years. I think it's like something like 40% price increase over the last 5 years. So unless you're sure you're gonna keep that watch forever, permanently in your collection, which might very well be possible, right? It's that like I said, that $10,000 tier range. Maybe you just want to have one nice watch, or you got a promotion at work, you finished a project, you're very proud of it. Now you want to buy something to celebrate. Maybe it's like 40th birthday milestone, 30, whatever. You might opt to buy that watch that you don't care how much money you lose. You just want to have it for brand new in the collection. And if that's the case, then great. You don't even need to worry about the monetary aspect of it too much. But the issue arises is when you buy these watches and you tell yourself you're never gonna sell it, but then something comes up and then now you gotta move it on. It's gonna be very difficult to get rid of without losing a ton of money. My hair is looking crazy right now. Let me keep walking. You're probably gonna lose 40, 50%. And that is probably going to take a long time to move on. Like, let's say, how much are they charging for a reverso dual face these days? Like 16, 17,000? And you're probably going to list it for 10. Someone's going to haggle you down, try to, you're going to get a lot of, hey, 6K, I'll pick it up today. Like, these kind of messages just going to piss you off. And then by the time you actually sell it, it might be like 9.2 or like 8.8 or something like that. I'm just spitting numbers out here, but hopefully you guys get the point. And so, I guess to wrap this up, not really, because I still have Rolex to talk about. I'll make this short. With Rolex, if you're able to buy it at retail, steel model, Datejust, Oyster Perpetual, or anything above that, like Explorers, Explorer 2s, Submariners, Pepsis, GMTs, like you're not losing money on that. You can flip it, put it on Chrono 24, assign it to a gray market dealer, assign it to a local store. You're actually gonna make money, which is great if you're buying it for retail. However, if you're buying it on the secondary market, I think you'll still lose a little bit of money, because these gray market dealers, they're going to charge a little bit of a markup. And when you want to flip it, you're going to sell it back to them. Unless you want to go through the trouble of listing it on Facebook Marketplace and take the risk of someone potentially scamming you, doing all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's a Rolex, right? It's like the hottest commodity that you don't got to pay tax on, depending on who you ask. But it attracts the wrong attention and the wrong buyer base a lot of times. And so, I mean, if I was to sell a Rolex, the safest way will probably just to sell it to whoever dealer I bought it from or whoever I trust, and take a little bit of a discount. And so if you're buying it from a dealer, let's say John Doe for $13,000 for a 14060, and now you want to sell it back, he'll probably offer you, I don't know, 10, 11, 11.5, like something like that. You'll still lose a little bit of money, but it's not terrible. It's kind of like the price you have to pay to, not to own the watch, but it's like a penalty for buying something that you're not going to keep forever. And I guess that brings me to my final point, which is keeping your watches. I think this is the most important thing in this hobby. You can buy smart all you want. Like, you can be an asshole and just haggle everyone down like crazy and try to not lose money that way, sure. I think it's emotionally stressful to keep doing that. And a lot of time, you're going to enjoy the thrill of the chase. Be like, hey, this guy is selling this watch for $10,000 on Marketplace. Watch this. I'm going to haggle him 6K. And you get it, but now it's like, did you really want this watch, or did you just want the deal? And of course, if you just wanted the deal, you could probably sell it for more. But my point is, it's important to really add slowly to the collection and appreciate what you have. Like for myself, like I talk about in my last video, my Oyster Perpetual 36, I don't talk about it a lot. I look at it, I enjoy the fact that it is a very reliable watch. I don't think too much about it. I don't think about, wow, wouldn't it be cool if I have a functional bezel on this thing, or if I have a fluted bezel on a Jubilee with a Wimbledon dial? Wouldn't that be so cool? Like, we have these thoughts, but you can't commit yourself to exploring them all that often, because then you're gonna be buying a lot of watches in, and you got to dump a lot of watches out, and then you're just loaded. But in the fact that if you're just loaded, you're probably buying higher end stuff like Daytonas, two-tones, and all that kind of stuff. So I guess the moral of the story, the point of this video of me rambling about how you can lose thousands of dollars on watches, is just be careful. Buy slowly, look for a good deal, only buy retail if it really means something to you, or I guess if you can make the case where if you're brand new to the hobby, it's always safest to buy retail because they can take care of you if something breaks down. Yeah, I guess if someone asked me today and they're brand new to the hobby, hey, should I buy a Black Bay 58 on Craigslist or should I buy from my AD and pay $2,000 more? Oh man, that's gonna be a hard question. You know what? Instead of me answering myself, you guys let me know in the comments below. Would you recommend someone that's new to the hobby to buy retail for 5,500 Canadian, or 35 is not very realistic because no one's gonna take that. Let's say 38 on marketplace from a dealer with a couple reviews. They listed some Jordans, some Patagonia jackets. Like, which one would you rather do? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for listening to me yap for the last couple minutes. I'll see you in the next one.